What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be creating environment variables for our secrets, and also we're going to be configuring our server.js file to make it a little bit more nicer than what it is right now. The only thing we're going to be doing is moving this into a different folder, and we're also going to be deploying our Heroku app today. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So the reason why we want to move this into a different folder is because we want to make that folder ignored by Git. Right now, if you go to my GitHub, you could actually see what I have for my MongoDB URLs, and you're gonna also see my secret once I put it in here. I don't want people to see my stuff or the secrets that I have, so we're going to move it into a folder so that way we could ignore it from Git. So inside of server, we are going to create a new folder called config. Inside that config, we're going to create a new file. It's going to be two different files. So config.js and then config.json. Okay. So for right now, go back to server. I'm gonna just copy this, copy it, and just put it in config.js, paste that right there, move it in front, control save that. Now we do need this still inside of server.js, so instead of assigning it to a variable, we're going to require config, or where are we at? Okay, we're still okay. Yeah, config/config.js without adding the JS. And what this does, instead of assigning whatever's inside of here into a variable, we're literally just going to call it, and it's like having this right here. But we're not assigning it to the variable. That's why I'm just leaving it like this. So if we actually save that, we could actually test it out if it actually is working. So I'm gonna cd into my folder, and then npm test. This should still work because all of our things, yep, it's still working. Everything is still working, which is great. So inside of config.js, actually inside of config.json, we're going to actually make an object, and in this object we're going to have the test, and that's going to be an object, and we're going to have our development just like that, and that's going to be an object. Inside these two, we're going to just grab the port and the Mongo URI and just assign it into this object right here, so that way we could start doing you'll see in a second why I'm doing this. So in here, we're going to do port, uppercase port is going to be 3000, and it's going to be 3000 for the both of them. So I'm just copy this, paste it right there. Now we are going to need our MongoDB underscore URI, and that's going to be for development. It's going to be to do, and for test is going to be this. So I'm just copy this, put it right here, and that does have to be a string. I'm gonna copy this. Oh, paste it right there, and it's just to do. Control save that. Now in here we don't need this anymore because we're gonna add a different case. So I'm gonna just comment this out for now. So in here, if env equals development, or env equals triple equals test, we are going to do something. We're going to grab our JSON object. Now remember, I told you we can assign this to a variable, which we are, and this is going to assign this object inside of a variable we're going to do right here. So var config I'm going to fix that in a second. Equals require. It's in the same folder. So config .json. Var. Now I could actually show you that it's just a regular object by logging it out. Config, control save, and I could do, even though I do get errors, but up on top you can see our object right here coming back at us. I said that really weird, coming back at us. So there you go. Now we're gonna actually create another variable called env config, and what this is going to store is actually the since this is going to be a test or development, I'm gonna store the object of the test or the object of the development inside this variable right here, env right here. You'll see in a bit. So config, and I want whatever environment we're in right now to be stored inside the environment variable. Whatever environment we're in, we're gonna grab that object from config and just store it here. I could actually show you what I'm talking about. Log out, env config, control save, and if I restart this, we do get our object back up here. Since we are in the test, we are going to get our test object back, and that is it to do test. Remember that. This is the only thing I want to do for right now. Now, we do have to loop through this. The only reason, because we do need to assign our process env port and our process env MongoDB URI. Now, there's two ways of doing this. I mean, there's a lot of ways to actually assign it. I'm going to loop through an array. I'm going to create an array and loop through it. So how do I create an array? Well, I'm going to do objects. Now this is a keys. This is a JavaScript method of actually grabbing the keys of an object, and I'm gonna pass in the env config, and I'm gonna show you right now. I'm gonna just grab this, copy that, comment that right now, put it right here, paste it. I'm gonna show you exactly what's going on. Go up on top, and you can see that we get an array of our properties for that test object. This is a test object. We're grabbing that test object, and we're just grabbing the properties and making it into an array. So port and MongoDB. So, I mean, if you didn't know that, now you do. And we're gonna just do a for each. We're gonna loop through these arrays. For each. And it is going to give us a key back, and it's going to equal a function where we're going to loop through it, and we're going to actually assign the process.env, and we're going to assign it that key back. So it's going to return, remember, it is going to return a port or a MongoDB URI. So it's going to be process.env.port or process.env.mongo MongoDB URI, and we're going to assign that to env, and we're going to put the key in here. So it's going to assign it to the actual value of the env config key value, remember. So if it's a port right here, it is going to grab the 3000. If it's Mongo URI, it is going to grab this URI. So if you control save this now, actually comment this out now, control save, and if you actually run it now, everything should be working. Just nope, it doesn't though. Let me see what's going on. Oh, question mark, that's why. Control save. Now if you run it, everything should be working, and it is. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now we're going to create a custom variable for our secret. As you know, in our models, in our users, we do have a secret. We do right here, some secret. We have that in two places, I think. I'm not too sure how many places we have it in here. I think it's two. I'm not sure. I will look. But also we have it in our seed.js, some secret. We do need to assign this into a variable. So let's do that right now in config.js, or actually config.json. We're going to assign right here our another variable called JWT underscore secret, just like that. And we're going to assign it to, you could do whatever you want. I'm going to do a random set of characters and some numbers, throw in some numbers in there, just like that. And we're going to actually do the same thing for our development. So paste that, and I'm going to, it's not going to be the same thing. You don't want it to be the same thing. I'm going to do another thing right here. I don't know, just like that. It doesn't matter. We don't need to remember this because we have it in our config.json, so we don't have to remember it whatsoever. Okay. Now we do need to update our seed.js and also our users models because of the secret, right? So let's do seed.js first. I'm gonna actually find every one of them. I'm gonna find every some servert or whatever, some servert inside this file. So how I do that in Atom is actually I highlight the one I want, which is this. I highlight the thing I want to change, and I do Control D, and it'll find every one of them. As you see, it put two cursors. It will find every one of them that has the same thing inside this file, and I could actually edit at the same time. So I'm gonna actually set it as process, because we did set it as an environment variable. So process env dot jwt underscore secret, just like so. And we're gonna do the same thing. Control save. I'm actually copy it. Copy this, and inside our model users.js, we do have it again right here. I'm gonna do Control D to find any others that I do have, which I did. You see that I did have another one. I don't have anymore. It's just those two, and I'm gonna just do backspace and paste. Now we should have two of them. I'm gonna check it right now. Actually, if you just highlight and then Control F, you will see that you find two in this file, which is great. So I'll Control save that. Now if we do npm test, we should see all of our tests run successfully. Awesome. And if we do postmon and do some calls, we could actually see what's going on. I do need to start up my server, so node server starting it up, and we're gonna make some calls right here. I'm gonna create a new user in our body. I'm gonna do pmail, send that off. We'll need our header, and this is actual a new user, so I'll copy that. I'm going to get all the to-dos from this one user. I shouldn't have any for this one user, so send it off. I do get an empty array, so if this works for both of these routes, rest assured it will work for all the routes. Now we're gonna talk about pushing it to Heroku. We do gotta do some things. Obviously, Heroku doesn't have the environment variable JWT. We actually need to create an environment variable in Heroku for JWT secret underscore secret. Okay. The way we do that is I'm gonna go back in our folder, wherever you store this file. Let me see, in here. I'm gonna get bash in here, right here. So make sure you're inside of the folder you're in, because we're gonna do Heroku stuff. And if you don't know anything about Heroku, I did two videos on it, one for my Express app and one for the To-Do app. And this is actually a To-Do app still, but we are going to be adding on to the To-Do app, or the Heroku To-Do. So if you do Heroku config, it should give you all the configurations or environment variables that you have inside that server inside of Heroku, which we do have one, or you should have one, which is MongoDB URI. And that should be your URI's Mongo. So we have it right here. But we do need to set an environment variable for JWT. So how do we do that? Well, it's pretty simple. You do Heroku config :set space, and then our environment variable name JWT underscore secret We're going to equal that to random set of characters. It doesn't matter what it is. So I'm going to do it again. Now, if you hit enter, it is going to set it. It's going to restart your server. And if you actually do config again, you should have right here JWT secret and the actual thing. The actual secret that you gave it. Awesome. Now that we have this, we are going to push it up to Heroku. But we do need to save it in our GitHub first. So git status. Let's see what we changed. Oh, we still have. So we don't want to add our. Yeah, we have this, but we don't want to add the JSON config in our GitHub. All right, we don't want to add this in our GitHub. So we're gonna actually ignore it. So inside your git ignore, where is it at? I don't even have a git ignore. I'm gonna create one right now. So new file dot git ignore. And in here, we're going to ignore node modules because you don't want anybody to, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but you don't want people to get your node modules because they could just download it from our package.json. Where am I at? Git ignore. We're going to ignore node modules underscore modules. And we're also going to ignore / config. Get rid of this so I can see. No, it's not in config. It's actually server / config, and inside that config folder is going to be config.json. And let's get rid of these / because we don't need them. So control save now. Now if we actually do GitHub right here, git status. We have a new one, right? We did create a config. So everything looks right. So I'm gonna do git add dot to add them all, which I already did. So I'm gonna do git commit -m to add a message. I'm gonna just say created env for secret. That is it. Once you do that, you grab that, and I'm gonna do git push. So we are gonna push it. So I might just pushed it. All right. If I open up my GitHub, let me open it up right now. GitHub. In my folder. Did it? A RESTful API. Do I have another folder really? Alright, it's right here. Look at that. We created env for secret. If we go inside the server, our config, we don't have our config.json, which is great. Nobody could use it or nobody could see it, but they can see this, which we don't really care for. Alright, awesome. Now this time we're actually going to push it to Heroku. We will need to log into our production database. The reason why is because we do have some leftover to-dos from our old to-do API, and we do want to actually delete those. So I'm going to actually open up Robo, Mongo. We're going to create a new connection. Go to GitHub or Git Bash, and we're going to need that URI we created for Heroku. So Heroku config, because we do need that URI, right, which is right here for our to connect to. So let's start off with name first of all. Name, I'm gonna actually name it Heroku. It doesn't matter what you name it, but you do want to be detailed about it. API is not localhost. Our actual address is right after the @ so .com. This is our address. So I'm gonna grab it right here, paste it. Our what is it called again? Oh my God, I forgot what it's called, but this number right here, holy hell, it is 49034. Our port number, oh man, there you go. Our port number is 49034, which is from right here. Let's hit next, our authentication right here. We are going to have to perform an authentication, so I'll click that. Our database obviously is to do because we did name it to do. Our username is a username that you did create it, but if you happen to have forgotten it, thank God for this, because it has it right here. Our username is test, and then our password is password1. So username test, and our password is password1. And you can leave the auth mechanism as it is. We're going to test it first off before we save it, and everything's great to go. Now we save it, connect to that, and we do have our to-do as you see right here. Open that up, our collections, and I just did it this morning, and I did make one. So I'm just remove that. So I'm gonna drop where is it at? I'm gonna drop the database right here. Drop database, be done with it. Now let's push it up. So type in git push Heroku master. You should only do this once you have all the environment variables and set on Heroku itself. And once you push it, it should have it all. We will be testing this. So once it's done with this, we are going to grab the IP address and test it on Postman. Just waiting it out. And yep, it's about to be done. There it is. So this is the actual address right here. Grab it, control copy. Let's go inside our Postman, and we're gonna create a user. So users, okay, but instead of this, it's going to be this, our actual production UR IP address. So we're gonna create a user called g@pmail with this password, whatever. Send it off. We do get our eth, we do get our body back, and I'm actually open up Mongo right beside it, so I'm gonna open these two up with this one right here. Now, so we refresh this, open up our to-dos, our collections, refresh collections, our users right here. We do get our user back, g@pmail.com, which is great. We have our hashed. I don't know why I said it like that. We have our hashed password. We're gonna create a let me see. We are gonna create a post now. So a to do. So post to do right here. Let me get rid of some of these. Don't save, and our to-dos. Instead of that, it's going to be home. Copy that. Now grab it from here. Paste that. In our headers, we do need to get our XAuth from what we received right here. So I'm going to just copy this. Make sure you grab the whole thing. Control A. Paste it, and our body coming from Postman auth Heroku deploy. We send that off. We do create it, so over here, refresh. Now we get 3. Our to-dos is right here. We do grab it. Now let's create another user. I'm gonna just do pink @gmail.com. Send that off. Grab my token. I really hate this. Copy this. Make another one right here with our headers. Control A, paste. Heroku deploy, pink user. Send that off. Awesome. And we refresh right here. Or refresh. We should get yes. And now I'm just going to grab a to do. Copy. Paste. And we do need to grab our token from our second user. This is our second user. We're just testing it out. Copy this. Headers. Paste. Send it off. And we should get yes, we do. All right, with this in play, we are done, guys. We have created our to-do API with authentication. I mean, you could add a lot more to this if you wanted to, but we could just create it. It's not very simple. It's in the middle tier. It's not a beginner. It's intermediate kind of. This what we're doing, and that is it for this series, guys. We are complete with authentication. We have pushed it to Heroku. Now we have our production live, and if you want to add more things, you can. Now you know how. But thank you so much, guys, for watching this series and also watching this video. Please leave a like or a comment down below on what you thought about the video or the series, and if you want me to create more, because I am going on the next series. I am going to create a we're going to be creating a web socket app, meaning that real-time chatting with other people. We're going to create that using socket.io. That's going to be another series, and it is still Node, and it's still part of Node Beginner series. All right, guys. So I do want to thank you all for actually watching my videos. Please share this with somebody that wants to get into web development. I think this will be great for them to learn, because we are creating apps from scratch to finalizing it. We are creating it. We're all testing it. This is basically a general overall overview for Node.js. But yeah, share my video, guys. I would really appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next series. Thank you so much.